The new rules around beneficial ownership are just the latest in a number of international initiatives around tax and transparency. How are they changing the landscape for offshore financial centres? Joining me is Lorna Smith, Interim Director of BVI Finance. Lorna, tell me how these different initiatives might impact international financial centres like the BVI.
All international finance centres are evolving, and it is very important that the British Virgin Islands stay in step with the new developments. The new standards are all about transparency, and the British Virgin Islands therefore is adhering to these very high standards of transparency. We have been an early adopter for the Common Reporting Standards. We have signed on to the Foreign Accounts Tax Compliance Act. We are a member, one of about 90 members of the Multilateral Convention on Taxation.
As you say, you're very involved in all of these conversations. So how are you engaging with the different stakeholders around these programs?
The OECD Global Forum really gained momentum in 2009, and the British Virgin Islands was at the table at that time. We have been a member of the steering committee, and that is very important for us. I've been attending a Commonwealth Secretariat meeting because the Commonwealth Secretariat is very concerned about the IFCs and making sure that they are treated fairly. And at the Commonwealth Ministers of Finance meeting that is supposed to take place in October, the subject of IFCs will be on the agenda. So that is a part of our engagement.
So that's part of your outreach, how you're engaging internationally. But back home, how are you reviewing your legislation to make sure that the BVI is keeping up and indeed keeping in front of the changing international landscape?
The British Virgin Islands prides itself on being always ahead of the curve, especially in terms of our legislation, in terms of our regulations. We stay in touch with the international standard setters, and as a result of that, our legislation is amended as required. We have recently made it a requirement that the ultimate beneficial ownership of companies be brought onshore. And in terms of the industry, there is such a thing as product legislation to make you competitive, to make you attractive. And we stay in touch with the industry because, as I always say, without an industry, you don't have financial services.
So part of the way that you're evolving is through the campaign BVI Forward. Tell me about this. What is it trying to achieve?
The BVI Forward campaign is central to the evolution that I mentioned when we started out. The campaign is intended to strengthen our financial services even more, to make them more sustainable. We, for instance, have begun to engage the population. I mean, very often people hear about financial services and it's a big mystery. So it's important that they understand how financial services contribute to their livelihood and how important it is for the continued prosperity of the British Virgin Islands. We have to build the capability of British Virgin Islanders, and we have therefore established a Financial Services Institute to make sure that British Virgin Islanders develop the capability for financial services. One important tenet of it is the diversification of our financial services. We have about 450,000 active companies. We are the third largest in the world, but we would like to add value to the financial services that we offer. For instance, establishing the BVI as a leading data center. We have established the BVI as an arbitration center. We will have to improve our infrastructure. We need state-of-the-art telecommunications. So all these things we are working on to make the British Virgin Islands, as I said before, more sustainable. And that is what the BVI Forward campaign is about.
So overall, how is the BVI growing and building on its position as a renowned international financial centre?
We've done a number of things. I mentioned the Arbitration Centre. We have one of the most highly respected commercial courts, opened in 2009 as part of the OECS Supreme Court system. You would imagine that with 450,000 companies, a lot of litigation would be involved, and people want swift justice, and it is what they can get in the British Virgin Islands. We have engaged a firm to carry out a study of the value or the contribution that the British Virgin Islands makes to global financial services. That should be finished by the end of this year. because I go back to the issue of substance and proving that there is more to the British Virgin Islands and its offerings than simply, incorporations. That's just a couple of areas that we are developing.
Lorna, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thanks for watching. You can find out more about the financial services offered by the British Virgin Islands at worldfinance.com. And please subscribe for more on how changing regulations will affect multinational businesses, as well as all the latest insights from World Finance.